It happened, baby. The West Virginia Mountaineers get one of the biggest commitments in school history. We got to talk about it.
You are Locked On West Virginia, your daily podcast on the West Virginia Mountaineers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your host. Welcome back into Locked On West Virginia. West Virginia Mountaineers, man, what an absolute awesome day it's been so far as elite offensive line prospect Kevin Brown chooses the West Virginia Mountaineers live on the Pat McAfee Show. Let's get into this. Obviously, guys, we got to shout out the channel sponsor with FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, guys, new customers can bet $5. If your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the FanDuel app today to get started. And thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. Couches are burning right now as Kevin Brown has chosen West Virginia live on the Pat McAfee Show. Guys, I've told you guys for a while now that this is a big deal. This is vindicating for a lot of different people. For me, for others that were involved with this, I really feel so glad that this happened and that certain things didn't get in the way of it happening, right? So, we don't have to go into detail, but certainly I am so glad that West Virginia has done this, because this is a true sign that West Virginia is swinging for the fences, and it is good to be a Mountaineer fan right now. If you didn't know who I'm talking about exactly, the number 2 overall prospect in Pennsylvania, one of the top 3 offensive linemen in the entire country, should be a 5-star guy. He's right there on the border of 5, out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, 2026. He will start as a true freshman at West Virginia. You can mark my words at some point. And he was the highest unranked commit prospect in the country following his decommitment. So obviously this is a big deal for West Virginia and Coach Rich Rodriguez as they land a player that just changes your life in a lot of different ways. And it's not even an exaggeration to say so. It gives you a lot of momentum. It gives you a lot of, at least in my opinion, it gives you a lot of hope that this isn't the only one, that there are going to be more players like this down the line. And I absolutely believe there will be. The fact that he set a couch on fire was freaking hilarious, man. I couldn't believe that he did that while live on the McAfee Show. Like, that is some of the funniest stuff that I've ever seen. But so I am going to text him as soon as I get off of here and try to get him on the show. I don't know exactly what that's going to entail or what it's going to take. I'm sure his phone is blown up, but I am going to do my best to get him on. But that said, this is a 6'6", 290-pound monster of a man, really. I mean, he is. He's just built differently. Obviously, he starts on the Harrisburg offensive line, where they're going to be in the district finals today. He's at Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, Penn State, literally everybody. And he originally verbaled to Penn State, if you didn't hear him say on the show, and it's nationally known. He verbally committed to Penn State early on in his high school career. And then that's kind of flipped after the Franklin stuff. So I do think that was the biggest blessing for West Virginia, was Franklin being fired, obviously. There was already some hope that it could happen, but I think he would have stayed locked in with Penn State otherwise. This is a monster win for Rich Rodriguez and company, guys, because he's already projected as an potentially NFL draft pick. So you can't really go you can't really go wrong with a player like this, because most of the time guys this highly rated perform very well. Now there are busts out there, but man, this is so freaking great. I really can't explain how great it is. And it's been a long couple of weeks trying to figure out what's going to happen with it. But I think we can all rest easier now. Now there is more to it because I think the next thing you have to worry about is, and I'm not going to sit here and question his commitment to West Virginia. I'm not going to sit here and question. I don't think he'll flip personally. Getting to know him a little bit and talking with him, and then how he behaved on that show there just now, lighting the couch, how much it means to his dad. I don't think he's going to flip. There are going to be people that say that it could happen. I don't think it will happen, personally. And the reason for that is Kevin is a very honorable person. And like I said, I don't know him personally very well. I've just had some conversations with him, and that's the vibe that he wants people to have about him, in my opinion. And getting the right things right means something to him, right? Whether that's his 40 time, like I mismentioned it one time, or what have you. I think these things matter to him. So I'm excited. I think this is really big for West Virginia sports as a whole. And if you consider this week, you could say this week could have been, and maybe, I don't even know if maybe, it may just be the biggest week in West Virginia sports history in the last decade, maybe, if you consider everything that happened. You had Miles Sadler, 5-star guard, commit to West Virginia. You had Kevin Brown committing to West Virginia today. You had the Greenbrier 5. You beat Pitt in the backyard brawl in basketball, and you're undefeated in basketball. Let's talk all about that too, right after the break. This episode of Locked On West Virginia going to be brought to you by FanDuel. Right now with FanDuel, guys, the NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets from everything who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets. Win that first $5 bet wins, but you can't win if you don't play. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the National Basketball Association. It's segment 2. Can we crack a do? Just one time for the one time, guys. Let's freaking go. Kevin Brown's a Mountaineer. So, big news. I think another thing to consider is Bicknell. I'm going to ask him about that, how his relationship with Bicknell. I'm sure it's probably pretty good. And so I don't know. I think there's a few things that we could talk about with that, but we'll do it on another show. So obviously the week that was in West Virginia, you consider Sadler, you consider Brown, you consider the brawl, you consider other things that are happening, not even just that. And then obviously the Greenbrier 5, the backyard brawl, let's see, Brown, Sadler. Is that everything? Am I missing anything? This has been one heck of a week for West Virginia sports. And I think it's a changing of the tide. I really do. I think the changing of the tides is happening for West Virginia. I do. I really do. And the thing is, let's break them down individually really quick. So we'll start back with Kevin Brown, since that just happened. If you're breaking him down as a player, he's an elite tackle prospect. He could play inside if you need him to. He's got an elite kick step. He's got an elite anchor, which means that he doesn't get knocked off his spot when guys try to bull rush. He's got great hands, and he drives people right down into the dirt over and over and over again. That's just what he does. That's who he is as a player. He's got a nasty disposition. He's hard-edged already, which is exactly what Rich Rodriguez asks for. So you got all those factors mixed in with him. Couple that with the fact that he's a legacy kid that was shunned by Holgerson. I told you guys this on my show the other day, did I not? That he told me, that his dad told me, that the Dana Holgerson era was not good to them. Was not good to them. They got kicked out of a practice. They wouldn't watch his tape. What an idiot Dana Holgerson is. I'll be doing a separate video on this, just on that, because, like, to me, that says a lot about him. So, you know, the fact that they allowed that to go on is just, it's unforgivable. And I'm definitely going to talk about it. So, you know, let's move on to Miles Sadler, obviously, right? Because not only did you get Kevin Brown today, you got Miles Sadler yesterday. How in the world do you get 2 5-star players, or what should be 5-star players? Hell, even 4-star players, back-to-back days in the 2 major sports? It's just unheard of for us. You know, we're not used to it. Some other fan bases, this isn't even news to them. They just read an article like, yep, that's another day. I'll figure out who he is whenever we get to spring camp or whatever. You know, so for us, it's like, God, I'm hanging on every word that they were saying. I can't believe that this just happened, to be honest. I just, it didn't seem like it was going to be real, guys. You know, you ever convince yourself like there's something way ahead in the future, like it may be a date that you're looking forward to, maybe you're getting married, or maybe you're going to go to this vacation. It's like, man, I just can't envision it actually happening because it's so far away. That's kind of how I felt with Kevin Brown. I just felt like it's just, this kind of thing just doesn't happen to us. This kind of thing just doesn't happen to us. Jay McClanahan says Jackson Johnson may be the responsible for these pickups. I have to agree. Yeah, Jackson Johnson is he's actually in a new role. He is the new dual coordinator at West Virginia. He recruits for basketball and football. For those of you who don't know, Jackson is somebody I have on this show often. So, yeah, but anyways, Sadler, you know, we know about his game, elite. And, you know, he can guard 50, 60 feet, however much you want him to guard up the floor. He's an elite on-ball defender. But the thing about him is he's just as good as an offensive player, 3-level scorer, and a guy that can make defenses pay with relative ease. So Miles Sadler, another huge, huge pickup for West Virginia, obviously. And we're glad because that's big for basketball in the future of the basketball program. Then you look back to the backyard brawl. West Virginia wins that game by 1 billion points, 22, but it felt like 1 billion. Last night at Lafayette was a pretty big win. And you start to look around and you're like, man, when's it ever been this positive at West Virginia, like in the last few years? I can't remember when. And so then you remember the week kind of started with the brawl and the Greenbrier 5. Happening, which is the biggest story in women's college basketball last week. So you got a bunch of national stories hitting at West Virginia right now in this month of November. So November has turned out to be just an amazing month for the Mountaineers, and we wouldn't have it any other way. I know you guys wouldn't either. This is exciting stuff, guys. This is literally changing the game for West Virginia. Now West Virginia is starting to become more of a destination spot now that Rich Rod's back, and Ross Hodge is making a name faster for himself than any other coach in the history of our school in their first 5 games. That's not an exaggeration. That's the truth. Ross Hodge has done things in his first 5 games that nobody's done. He beat Pitt. He's starting out 5-0. He did it without his best 2 of his better players. And, you know, I think one other coach has ever started out 5-0. So, sure, some of that's who you played, and I understand that, but we're going to be extra positive on this show tonight or this afternoon. It feels like tonight because it's raining outside right now. But, yeah, so all those things combined mean a lot, and I just can't overstate that it feels like a changing of the times for West Virginia and us fans that have suffered over the last, 10 years? I mean, it's been 10 years. Think about it. Javon Carter and company, like that's the last time I felt like we were competitive in basketball to where we could maybe go to the Final Four. In football, it was similar. It was right around 2018 or 2016. Probably more like 2016 or 2017. The Will Greer years was the last time I felt like we maybe could win a Big 12. The 1-9 win team under Neal was killed in one game at Penn State. So it's like I didn't really feel after that game I could see like, oh, the defense is going to be really bad again. And Jordan Leslie, like we just very unlucky on that situation. But yeah, so I mean, overall, guys, like I said a few different times now, things are changing for us, and that's what we need. We've needed this badly. So let's see where it takes us. We'll go to one more quick break, and then we'll kind of reorganize our thoughts on the other side. What is it about this situation with Kevin Brown that is so life changing for West Virginia? And did you happen to see he actually was burning couches? What the heck was going on? And we're back here on Locked On West Virginia. There's a spider hanging from a thread right behind you guys on my behind my camera. Just hanging. It looks like it's floating in midair. That's bothering me because if it goes away while we're doing this, I'm not going to know where it went, and I'm going to know there's a spider in my house. Oh, no. I'm going to try to keep my eye on that thing. I'm going to try to remain composed here. I am not a spider guy, y'all, at all. As a matter of fact, quick story time with Paul. Whenever I was 5 years old, my dad looks like he's hanging on my light up there. Whenever I was 5 years old, my dad and his friends, it's always my dad, didn't want to have to watch me for a day. And so they literally tied me to a chair. This is not a joke. And I think they meant it as a joke, but it was traumatic for me. They tied me to a chair and put me on the back porch for like 20 minutes or something like that. But they were really just messing with me. They were young, I think, and they were just thought it was funny, whatever. But one of his friends came out there and threw Granddaddy Longlegs on me while I was tied to that chair and told me that their mouth was too small to actually hurt me. But if it bit me, I would die from poison. So from then on, scarred forever when it comes to spiders. Okay, I see where it went. All right, so back to the topic at hand, though. Kevin Brown, obviously, if you just joining in, committed to West Virginia on the Pat McAfee show. And there's a couple of different things I want to point out about it that I think make it really special for us. Number one, it happened on a national stage. It's not like he came on my show and did it where maybe 50,000 or 100,000 people might see it over the course of a month or something, right? Like it's going to be, it was seen by 30,000 people live during the Pat McAfee show, and will be seen by millions more. So it's a much different scale. And I think that's where you look at it and say, oh, wow, that's probably something that could happen more often. I kind of wish Rich Rod would have been involved. I don't know why he wasn't. I guess because it's high school recruiting, maybe just it's kind of not looked upon as real great if coaches are involved. But, I get it. I understand why. I just wish that Coach Rod could have came on and said something. But, congratulations to them. They deserve it. I think this gives us a lot of big-time hope, guys. It really does. Can you imagine him at right tackle next year, coming out starting at right tackle? It'll be a big deal. It's going to be a big deal. This is going to be a guy that's going to come in and I think perform really well right away and be one of the best tackles in the league. So it's definitely something to look forward to, as well as just the entire momentum that's behind the program now. This bumps you up several spots in the rankings, in the recruiting rankings. And there are still several 4-star guys that are looking at West Virginia. And my next point is this could draw them to West Virginia, whether that's David Davis, whether that's Terry Wiggins, whether that's Matt Sieg. They're all different levels of potential for West Virginia. Like Sieg, I don't feel really good about anymore. And Terry Wiggins is still a pretty good possibility. And so, like, this could pull in because it's such a national thing and a big deal momentum-wise for West Virginia, 3 or 4 more other 4-star guys. And then you're looking at, holy cow, you got a top 25 class. When's the last time we had one of those? Never. I don't think we've ever had a top 25 class. But the teams that are winning the highest level at the college football playoff level they're bringing in top 15 classes. They're paying them to stay, and then they're retooling with guys in the portal that they need. That's the way to do it. And we're hoping West Virginia can do that now. We're hoping. So let's continue to monitor it. I think it's going to be something that's going to be really fun. I don't think that I don't think we have to worry about him flipping on West Virginia last minute, the 11th hour or anything. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that Franklin going to Virginia Tech is a non-factor. I told you guys yesterday that relationship is severed from my understanding. I also don't think that he'll go to Ohio State anymore. They've moved on and picked other players that would prevent him from playing early, or at least have to be in a competition to play early. Where at West Virginia, he's probably been guaranteed, yeah, you're going to play really early as long as you perform well. So I would imagine that's a piece of this that's also playing under the the deal too. Yeah, but Gwaltney somebody mentioned Jason Gwaltney. Sure. Yeah, I mean, he came in, he was a big deal. So was Tavon Austin. So was Noah Devine. But anytime you can get a guy this high at the offensive or defensive line spot, it's just way different. It counts for more than one, and especially if it's a tackle, So I think you have to look at it from that perspective too. It's an offensive or defensive lineman. It counts as a little bit more than one for me. Just my 2 cents on it. So, yeah, no, that won't be Penn State, Steve. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm pretty involved in the situation. I know. So like they just set a couch on fire live on the McAfee show. It's pretty crazy. As far as overall recruiting for the region, yeah, maybe Penn State will become dominant again in the region, but it also gives West Virginia a chance to get a foothold in and get some players in a year where they need them. So, I mean, sure, could it do that? Yeah, but I don't think at the end of the day, I mean, West Virginia is still going to have to recruit good players, whether it's in Pennsylvania or somewhere else, and that's what they'll do, and they'll be successful at it now because money's involved and West Virginia is competing in the money. We just beat Ohio State out for a guy, y'all. Don't overlook that. It's definitely, in my opinion anyways, it's definitely significant. Ohio State people would say, well, they just didn't want him. They just gave up on him. They picked somebody else. Who else is there to pick? He's the highest rated unranked player. So who was better? They knew he was coming to West Virginia, and they had to shift course. It happens. I mean, had he not had West Virginia ties and stuff, and it meant his dad was about to cry. Like his voice was quivering on the McAfee show. Like it meant a lot to them. Do you think he's going to flip that? No, I don't think so. Not without very good reason. So thanks for joining in, guys. Whole lot of happy West Virginians right now. I saw that press conference for Virginia Tech tomorrow morning. We'll definitely look at that. But guys, it's a great day to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be. Let's see what happens next, man. I got to be honest. Let's see what happens next. Could there be something else that happens beyond this that we're not expecting for West Virginia? I think there's a great possibility. A great possibility. So, like I said, you got the 4-star in Wiggins. You got the 4-star in Sieg. You got another guy. So there's also maybe a couple teammates of Kevin's possibly as well. So many different things to monitor here, but big congratulations to Kevin. Congratulations to Tim and their family. I'm so happy for you guys You deserve it. You deserve all the publicity in the world. It's your day. You get to celebrate it. And that's what matters, in my opinion. You guys earned that because you put all the work in over the last 5 years to be the best offensive lineman in the country. They can't say you're not. I mean, just because there's one or two guys ranked ahead of you by like that much doesn't mean they're really better when it comes to push comes to shove. So, like, I really think, like, when somebody's in the top 3, you can call them the best. That's just how I've always viewed it. So, I think most have him ranked 3rd that I've saw. I mean, to me, you can you're in the conversation. A bronze medal winner can sometimes beat a gold medal winner, and sometimes a silver medal winner can beat a gold medal winner. So, it happens. And in football, it's not necessarily so defined of a difference. So, yeah, I mean, and there's no reason to get caught up in where he's really ranked anyway too much. We know he's elite, and he's going to make a big deal for West Virginia. Probably start day one, if not really, really rotate in. And that's what we really want to see. So make sure you go like my video. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Definitely share the video out, please. And I will see you guys on the next one here on Locked On West Virginia. Thanks for making Locked On West Virginia your first listen, and for being a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where we talk about your team every single day. Don't forget Locked On Big 12 next. Drake Toll does an amazing job. We say it every day, but this is because it's true. He's literally one of the best. So I'm I'm just so excited about this. I can't even talk right. I'm really. So let's just go. Guys, I'll be back in a little bit. Got a couple other things I want to talk about today. Dana Holgorsen, what an ass, man. All right, guys. See you guys in a little bit. And don't forget to cue those country roads.